Hello again, fellow basement dwellers. This is your good friend Patrick O'Dowd welcoming you into another edition of Bandwagon Nerds. Bandwagon Nerds is, of course, brought to you as part of the Chairshot Radio Network here on thechairshot.com, where we remind you to always use your head.
Thechairshot.com. Always use your head.
And we have started off strong on the sound effect front. We'll see how long that lasts. Well, here's the thing, kids. You know when the commercial break comes, we're just going to flash it up on the screen. If you Tunny, I'm going to do that thing. Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? We're live?
It's your show, brother.
I'm just asking. I mean, you're the producer. You're the
We're very live.
You are the executive vice president of Wednesday night programming. Question of the day. Oh no, we actually did the show.
Like 2 in a row, I think, right? 2 weeks in a row.
True story about them. First of all, welcome in PC
I've just
Tunny.
been saving up Benchwarmers trivia podcasts so that we have them. You know, I got a couple in the bank.
Also, by the way, welcome to anybody following us today on Saturday as opposed to Sunday, because I guess wrestling is more important than my show. That's what I learned today.
Your show. What type of network is your show on?
I mean, I thought the tagline was sports entertainment and sports entertainment. I mean, as the entertainment division, feel it a little. I don't know. You know, I'm not mad. I'm just
you are an entire division, sir.
I
Turn
understand.
that frown upside down.
And yet, that's not enough to get bumped for a second-rate pay-per-view.
Am I here for you every
Europe.
week, sir? Am I here for you every week, sir?
In Europe doesn't even have the decency to make
why,
French fries.
It's during the day.
And I'm just saying, like, what are we talking about? Like, palm frites my ass. That's all I gotta say. Anyhow, we are joined by PC Tunny, the executive vice president of Wednesday programming, the man himself, our webmaster extraordinaire, the producer, something. Didn't think we were going to see him, but I'm pleased to see him, the Reverend Raymond S. Cashington, Esquire, in the house today as well. You've been quiet to start. So before I get into my Wednesday story, just like, how are things, man? Things good?
I'm good. My dog had her vet appointment and her shots, so we've been gone all day. I just got home like 15 minutes ago.
Poor kid.
And I have not had the chance to follow the rundown, watch any of the trailers, haven't watched any of the shows, so I'm trying to catch up.
Here's the thing. We'll do the intros and Tony and I will banter for a couple of minutes before we get in the trailer park. I don't think two of these are going to be tough for you to even talk about, even if you didn't watch them. The first one and the last one of the trailer park, like, if you can't talk on those two, I don't even know why you're on the show today. But the other two, I get. And in fact, one of these I put on here just so that Tunny can pontificate, because I haven't watched a minute of one of the programs. Let her see rundown.
Cross promotion too.
We'll cross pollination for my division. You know, I appreciate it. I'm not a megalomaniac, but
I'll be right back.
One time I told him he is the entire division, and now it's Ray. Put your headphones back on, damn it! This is important.
I'll be right back.
He thinks it's his whole division now.
Someone's at the door. He's got to go. We don't need him as the entire division. I will
as part owner. He needs to be here and dole out discipline. Discipline needs to be doled.
Whatever. I am Rob Van Dam in this bitch. I am the whole effing show. I crossed over.
You are in the world of Kill Tony, which you may not follow. You are Timmy No Breaks, who gets carte blanche on his creative power as you are carte blanche on your villainous mastery as Chairshot.
I'll sit there Hulk Hogan style.
Extremely proud of that being his nickname, Chairshot's #1 villain, by the way, folks.
And yet, I haven't had. I will say I don't have to answer to Dave today. Dave's skipping another show this weekend, and I don't get it. Hell, I actually think I'm good until I go travel across the pond to Europe in mid-July. Like, I should be on a run. But Greg DeMarco, I wanted to get back to this because there was intent to record a Greg DeMarco show. And so I show up, we get there, and then like the joke that I always make when I sign off on, how to find and follow me is, Wednesdays talking wrestling with Greg DeMarco when we feel like it. Sure. And literally we are sitting in this very studio and Greg has come out of the head of the table meeting and is sitting there with me, and he's not feeling a show at all. Like,
you know why? I tell you why. Because I wasn't at this week's head of the table meeting to keep it fun and light and happy.
He was just not down for wrestling talk. He was like, I only got like 2 things, and I was like, well, that's fine, man. Like, I don't like. So I'm thinking we're not going to record a show, and it's just going to be us using the studio as a phone call. And suddenly he gets me rolling on Disney World. And
oh yeah, you guys did a theme park show. That's right. I didn't listen.
Kind of.
I saw the title.
So I'm going to tell you this, but you are not allowed to push me on this when I tell you this.
Well, first, before you reveal the big secret, remember where you're about to go. Okay.
Yep.
Those high table meetings, I basically use to test new material on those 3 guys. So really, by the end of them, they're really happy I'm signing off. They're guinea pigs on Tuesdays for me before they.
You're the big experiment. You're the mad scientist.
Yeah, they may or may not have known it, but now they do. So back to what I cannot push you on. So let's hear what I
right. And I say this because you're the mad scientist and the content guy.
Oh, you want me to make some? Okay, what is it?
I want you to not bother me about this.
Actually, you're the person that would be bothering you is the person that's off screen right now more so than anything.
Which fine. I'm glad he's off screen then. But knowing one of my, and it's funny, all these ideas that I think of seem to always involve my go back to the door. Apparently I'm not, you're not allowed. I'm talking about something, Ray, that I'm going to tell you, you are not allowed to push me on either. Damn, because I'm surly. I'm a surly old man. I'm set in my ways. For God's sakes, did you call me lazy?
You're middle aged. You're not old.
Oh, I'm upper mid 40s. We're going to be clear.
Once you start getting into your mid 50s, then you can call yourself old.
Upper mid 40s. That's 48. I'm upper mid 40s.
Yeah, because the first 3 are early, the middle 4 are middle, and the last 3 are late, right? Because that's 10.
So ish. But anyway,
I'm upper mid 40s now officially.
Yes.
Figure that out.
So you all know my affinity for, like, you hear me talk about Disney World all the time. Dave and I talk about Disney World all the time, and my affinity for theme parks in general. And I watch a lot of other influencers and social media, like YouTube channels and a few podcasts here and there that are part of my rotation, and was like, I could probably do a park podcast and call it Park Dads and go through it that way, because a lot of what you see in the social media sphere are extraordinarily overly happy people talking about how wonderful Disney World is in particular. And I feel like there's more to it there. And not that I would be a crotchety old man dad, but I do think that dads approach parks differently than moms. And I'm tired of every podcast being about how to get your toddler ready for a fucking theme park. I want to talk about theme park
I already
challenges.
have options for you on a schedule and timing, and I have ideas
and again,
for guests and
I would like to
parks throughout the country.
I would like to reiterate.
We have people all over the country you can reach out to.
I would like to reiterate.
I went to like Six Flags. Hold on,
Which one?
Great America.
Oh,
in Gurnee, Illinois, when I was a kid, it was nice.
Gurnee, Illinois.
But I
don't know what it is now. And Six Flags is such a dude. You want to see a dump of a Six Flags? Go to my Six Flags, New England, the thrill capital of New England, because it's the only theme park in New England.
I mean, it is your division, so whatever you want to do to bolster your division.
I am the division.
That came back around.
I do. I know how this works when I start thinking about a thing, and the reality of it is. Oh, go ahead.
You do whatever you want, whenever you want, and we'll be here to support you whenever you
Oh,
like.
look at that. That's such an upper mid-40s thing to say. Appreciate it. Very, very nice. It's not really, but it's a thing to say. I was under the impression there was only going to be two of us on the show today, so let's talk about the show a little bit. So this is a lighter little.
I'm leaving at the trailer park. Yeah.
So Ray is going to depart after the trailer park. So it's going to be a little bit of a lighter show today. Obviously, we're running here on a Saturday, which is unusual for us. The recording itself, like the recorded podcast, if you're not following live, will show up on Monday as scheduled. It's just what we do. It's the nature of Europe fucking up the WWE's schedule.
Can I promote a couple things early on here real quick?
You may promote a couple things early on.
AJ Balaz's Funky Phenomenal Facts is going to be, I mean, it's out on YouTube right now, right, Ray? Or no?
I think it had a drop in at 12. Podcast drops at 4. So yeah, but today be able to go.
But
check
on
that
Chairshot
out.
Radio Network, and who are the contestants this PLE?
The most special Scottish people in the history of Scotland. Yeah. Ricky and Clive, yes.
Nice. And then also for Clash, this is the reason we're recording today for Clash in Italy. At least myself, I'm thinking there'll be at least one or two other people, maybe. Ray's shaking his head like he might be around tomorrow. He's not going to let me know. Ray's playing this like Andre the Giant in WrestleMania 3 finish. I'll tell you in the ring, Hulk. Oh, you'll be fine. But I'd probably say 1:15 Eastern. Check out at Chairshot Media, YouTube, Facebook, on X, on the website, thechairshot.com as well. We'll be doing a pre-show for Clash. Patrick, you're invited if you're around. But that's what's going on over there, and I'll plug other stuff later on. But I just wanted to get that out of the way because I know a lot of people pay attention to this show. So giving you a reason why we'll be back on Sunday next week.
Can I give my quick shout outs too so we can get through this? And
oh my God!
Oh, I made him wait 20 minutes and now we're just taking over.
30 minutes. What are we doing?
I guess. I mean,
honestly,
fine.
Once Ray leaves, Patrick, you're going to get to talk for 85% of the
show. Yeah, it's your show for real. Okay, two quick things.
I'm master my own domain anymore.
John,
Number one.
Trivia X, Seinfeld, master of your own domain. That's an answer.
Number one, we are getting towards the end of May. Thank you guys for supporting the Asian American and Pacific Islander photo journals and the What Ifs. But June, we'll be having LGBTQ Pride Month, the Colors of Pride infographics for historical themes. And our premium event is going to be dream matches. When you see these two gentlemen's dream matches, particularly Mr. O'Dowd's, the weirdest one of all of them. All good stuff. Secondly,
what, you got Doink the Clown against Danhausen?
No, you just had to tease that. You had to say it.
It's not mine.
You're the one who came up with that.
Oh, did I?
Yes.
Oh.
Is this
really?
the tag match I sent you?
It is.
God, it's been so long.
Yes, there's been a lot going on. Secondly, keep your peepers peeping while you can peep with your peeping peepers.
We no peeping people. That's creepy.
www.bandwagonnerds.com coming very soon.
Can I need a title for this show. Can it be Bandwagon Nerds 343 Creepy Peepers?
I mean, based on one of the trailers, it could be talking about creepy peepers. So anyway, are we can I have my show back?
I mean, I got more. You want me to go?
No, I don't. I'm done. No.
Got it, bro.
Oh gosh. All right. So that's a start. That's what we've been up to. I never did finish the story with Greg and I talking about theme park stuff. Greg then was like, at some point I was like, "Are we recording?" And he's like, "No, I gave up on the show forever ago." And then 30 minutes later, he's like, "You know what? We should record." And then he recorded, and that is what got us into. There was a whole segment of theme park conversation that I had with Greg that never made it. What we did talk about is the little O'Dowd and I's next theme park goals, because our big thing when we go to Walt Disney World is to hit all 4 parks in one day and do a 4-park challenge and hitting thresholds and rides.
Damn.
What's that?
I said, damn.
It's so much fun, man. So much fun.
Hey, Ray, I have a question. Yeah. One, was the high table meeting less fun and more productive because I wasn't there?
It was fun, but I'm not gonna say it was either more or less fun without you. We missed you. Productivity, not so much because I was stuck in Baytown at a satellite office I work on, and so it took me forever to get my stuff
Patrick,
working.
I heard it was less fun and less productive without me. That's
I
what I
guess
heard.
you are apparently
need
you
you.
are the straw that stirs the drink.
Yeah,
He knows
yeah.
that. He knows
Probably
that.
won't be there this week either.
He tried to act all humble like he ain't important.
No, he does not. Have you heard him on a draft show? That fucker is not humble by any stretch of the imagination. Get that shit
whatever.
out of the room.
At least you agreed with me that Dave ruined last week's draft.
Did you tell him how I labeled Dave when I sent you the list?
Cheater,
No.
yeah, that shit is hilarious.
So you remember he asked in the chat. He was like, "Do we have the list?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll send it to you."
That's right. That's right. Yeah,
So I wrote it up and I was like, Patrick, Dave, parentheses, cheater, and wrote out his list. And now he's crying about his fight in dramas. And I'm like, dude, watch a soap. Like,
he could have had the $6 million man for a drama, right? Couldn't that work?
Or an action show. Like he apparently is gonna have it all. It's gonna be like you in any animated thing where you just throw Fern Gully in there because like that's what it's gonna be.
Represent greatness. I mean, appreciate greatness, please.
Use whatever, Google AI, ChatGPT, Grok, and just say, give me the top 25 dramas, TV intro / themes of the 70s. You get the list, and then you go on YouTube and you watch them.
And then you decide which ones are yours.
That's what I did for the family show.
Yeah.
Fern Gully walked so Avatar could run. So James Cameron, you're
Dances
welcome.
with Wolves walked so that Fern Gully could
If I
run.
wasn't lazy, I would change the title of the show.
Let's walk away from white savior photo movies and shows and let's move on to
I love me some white saviors.
Creepy peepers.
I get into a fight with my supervisor at work all the time because he loves him some Dances with Wolves more than Tunney does. Loves him some Dances with Wolves so strongly.
It's a good movie.
That I'm not saying it's a bad movie.
You know what else
saying,
though?
I'm saying the white dude.
I seen it in the movie theater with my grandparents when I was a kid.
So
that's like, I mean,
experience.
Yeah.
Being little, seeing that on the big screen, like it was well shot.
It's why I will never forget the first time I saw Empire Strikes Back. Because when I saw The Empire Strikes Back, I was with my parents. I was 4 years old, and I don't remember the movie itself. What I do remember is somebody dressed as Darth Vader walking through the theater just before the movie started. It was whether that's a real memory or a fake one, I don't even know. If it's planted in there by the Matrix, thank you to our robot overlords. All right, let's get into today's show. We have pontificated a lot to start this off. A good 17 minutes of conversation. Tunney, do we risk a banjo? Or do we still only have copyrighted material and perhaps should leave the banjo?
Oh, I have a banjo for you, Tunney. I meant to send it to you. Andrew made me one. I'm sorry.
Well, Ray, you know what?
Well, that doesn't do us any good right now, Ray.
I've been busy. I'm running on website. I'm sorry.
You have access to this studio, Ray. Why don't you just drop it in there? But for this
I ain't been in the studio since Tuesday.
We'll do.
I'll tell you what. I'll do a compromise. Hold on. I'll do a compromise. One night only, because I'm feeling generous.
I don't want to play my own banjo.
I was going to let Ray play his own banjo. Ray could lick the thumb and everything. And now Tunney said no. Wow, I got overruled on my show.
That's all we can afford.
You want me to play it through my phone through the headphones?
No, I think we're good. I think
Bandwagon Nerds 343.
This is literally this is the most train wreckish start to a show I think we've had in a long time.
Patrick can't wait for you to leave, Ray.
I know.
I love Ray.
I'm gonna talk.
Ray,
I get one
I'm happy
sentence
you're
on
here.
every topic after this.
I had to see my voice today. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. You do what you got to do. We're gonna jump into the trailer park. We got 4 trailers today. We got the final Toy Story 5 trailer kicking us off. This one, here's what I pulled away from this trailer, and I got to be honest, I've watched the other Toy Story 5 trailers, and they're fine or whatever. This movie, though, in particular, feels like the most Jesse-centric Toy Story film they've like Jesse looks to be the lead in this, and this trailer sort of really makes it clear. And there's been a lot going on around Disney in general with Toy Story because of anytime there's a new movie out. And again, this is why I could do a podcast on theme parks because it all comes back to the theme park. Toy Story is opening up a show over in Walt Disney World that is led by Jesse. It's called Jesse's Roundup, and it is a show that is happening in Magic Kingdom where Jessie and her friends are doing kind of a dance show with kids for a lunch meal sort of deal. And it just reinforces like that show and this just reinforces where they're going in this particular show and making it because apparently Jesse and Bonnie have the closest relationship. As somebody who's watched Toy Story 1 and I think 3, like I remember 2, but I think I only watched like the trilogy. I stopped after 3. I don't really know too much.
We talked about 4 on the show. You've seen 4. You may not remember it, but we've seen it. I think we talked about it on the show.
Maybe we talked about the trailer on the show. Well, I couldn't tell you anything. That's where Woody leaves the group at the end. But the only reason I know that is because every people talked about Woody leaving the group at the end.
And you don't remember the kind of baby doll-esque doll who was the bad? Okay.
I know Bo Peep.
The villain of it is like this antique doll that's stuck in an antique shop.
Oh yeah. Nope. Okay. Nope. Did not watch a minute of that movie.
Sorry.
Yeah. Or if I did, I fell asleep, kind of like when I watched Dumb and Dumber. So true story. I don't know why fell asleep watching Dumb and Dumber. Have never been able to get through it.
Lord of the Rings, same problem.
So many people.
Well, that's 17 hours. That makes sense.
I can't get through the first half hour of the first one.
He's just trolling.
Honest to God, it's like 3 times I tried way back in the day.
And I love this for Joan Cusack. If I'm being fully honest, the voice of Jessie, that Joan Cusack is getting this movie. She also paid a visit as part of the promotion of the new Jessie show. She was at a premiere of it, and for those who don't understand or don't understand or recognize, Joan Cusack has had such a great career being the second Cusack in a lot of ways, unfairly so. Like so many people pay attention to her brother John, and great actor, but she's still she's the best part of Addams Family Values, for example. If you've ever seen Addams Family Values, where she plays Debbie, who marries Fester to steal his money. And anyway, watch Addams Family Values with Raul Julia, Angelica Houston, and Joan Cusack tying the whole family up, and how she explains that she murdered her parents because they got her a Malibu Barbie instead of a ballerina Barbie, so they had to go. It's great shit. But anyway, yes, check that movie out. Ray, I'm going to go with you first on this one. You've seen multiple trailers at this point. I'm assuming this is going to be one of those that you check out either by yourself or with the family.
For sure.
This thing is fitting to be a juggernaut. It's selling really well early. So I would say $1 billion future is coming. I think Zootopia's 2's run at the top as the all-time like money-makingest theatrical release animated film could be in jeopardy here with Toy Story 5.
Agreed. And think about all the IP Toy Story has on top of this. So you made a great point. That is the whole point behind the movie, is that this is Jessie's movie. And I think one thing that we kind of overlook, because Woody and Buzz are such big personalities, and they've been the tentpoles of this entire franchise, is that when Andy gave his toys to Bonnie, it was because of Jessie. She was the main toy that she played with, right? She was Andy's. She was Woody for Andy, right? And that's the reason why Woody felt comfortable leaving in the 4th one, because Jessie was the main toy. I think I've seen them all. I was a kid when the first one came out, so I've grown up with these movies just like my kids have. I think from a story perspective, just like if you were to read the script and look at the story from the idea of the story, this is the best story they've had since the first one because it is relevant, it is interesting, and hopefully, knock on wood, it is final. Because the one thing that they have touched on every trope, so to speak, involving children. They've touched on the sentience of the toys. They've touched on death. They've touched on life. They've touched on um, interaction with other people. They've touched on loss. They've touched on everything. They have not touched on technology once. And I think that the closest they came to it was Buzz Lightyear, who has batteries, right? So I think that is so relevant to what we're doing now because uh, you got the youngest of all of us on the show, child wise. Your little daughter, I think, is younger than Renaya.
14.
We all know that these kids, so many parents just throw them an iPad and just put them in the corner to keep their
It's
occupy their time.
for me, it's an effort to keep
Yeah,
him on. Like when
yeah.
if he is not gaming, he is on his Kindle. I think he's got a Kindle. He doesn't have an iPad, but
But it's almost impossible not to, and not just out of a laziness or to keep them occupied, but even in the trailer, which is why I think this trailer was so well done. They show Bonnie playing with the toys at the daycare, and all the other kids playing with their pads, and no kid wants
right.
to be left behind. And Bonnie
And
loves her
so
toys, but everything a toy can give you, the pad can give you times a million. And so there is a beautiful story that can be told about appreciating and embracing the old while understanding and moving towards the new. And I think that is almost as beautiful a story and hopefully a finish and a finale as the toys almost dying at the end of three and then being given and gifted, and Andy saying, "I'm grown now. Let me let these toys legacy on." I think this could possibly be as salient and powerful as that can because of what technology means to kids nowadays and to the future of what we're doing now. So I'm so excited. I think this was the best trailer so far.
Tony, will you be bringing your children to see Toy Story 5?
It's
The cats can
it's fun.
come.
It's funny though. You talk about like more of the age of for this movie. My nephews, the two boys are 4 and 6, almost 5 and 7, and I
Mhm.
was out to breakfast with them the other day, helping out with grandma when she was watching them, and that was you. It was like, oh, you finish your breakfast, you can have 5 minutes of screen time. You know what I mean?
There
Like
you go.
I was like, hey, if you guys can behave at the diner for breakfast, we can Walmart. It wasn't even 7 o'clock. It was like 6:15. They're up early, right? So I'm like, Walmart's open. We can go to Walmart. You guys can. I'll buy you each a toy. Well, they finished. You know, they want toys. They want screen time. Luckily, the older one wanted a Star Wars. Didn't I bought it, but he bought Ahsoka's ship, like a $40 one.
Oh, nice.
Built it that
Okay.
day. My sister, his mom, he made her text me. He was happy that he built it because I asked him, "Are you going to build it?" And he did. So I was happy about that. But yeah, we brought this up when the first trailer came out that this was a brilliant new idea. That it wasn't just capitalizing on the cash, which is going to come with this series, right? But it is the kind of technology versus old school. And we talk about Lego, right? Like he sat down and physically built, went through a booklet, no technology, and built a spaceship that he had seen. So that's pretty cool too. But yeah, I mean, there's pluses and minuses for all of it. It needs to be balanced with these kids. I think I'm going to go with them to see this. It looked great when I saw it in the theater as a preview for Mandalorian and Grogu. Unfortunately, it wasn't in one of the 3D previews. But I think I will go back and watch 1, 2, 3, and 4 before I head to the theater to check this out, which I think I'm going to be at the theater for it.
And one
Cool.
more
And
small point.
you guys mentioned Jesse taking over as like the lead toy, and that's pretty obvious considering like they show you right away Woody's old and a little bit past his due with the bald spot kind of um, joke at the beginning, which
Yeah.
is hilarious.
And one more small point I think that's important for me is every movie essentially, especially if it's a sequel, is a money grab, right? It's inevitable. They all are. But the one thing I appreciate about the Toy Story franchise, even with five, is every sequel, although for money, has a point behind it. They don't just throw them out to make money. Although that's the goal.
I mean, most Pixar movies are like that. There's always something to it.
Yeah.
So, I'm not particularly surprised with that. I think going with the technology story though to wrap this up makes a ton of sense, and it is a nice wholesome, hopefully as you say, finale to this Toy Story franchise. Now let's go to something a little less wholesome. And I went to an A24 film yesterday with a little O'Dowd, and A24 dropped a preview for the film Prime Time. And it is I'm assuming, a fictionalized account of Chris Hansen's To Catch a Predator, Dateline NBC. What started as a segment became a full-on show and has been a thing forever. And for the uninitiated, To Catch a Predator was basically a setup show where via online chats and as time has moved on, various methods of communication, basically like Chris Hansen would host a segment where they would entrap child predators by basically luring them to a house where the person would think they were meeting up with a younger child, a 13, 12, 15, like underage child. They would lead them into the house. They'd go into the kitchen. It was all, for the longest time, famously, it's at the kitchen with the bar. There'd just be Chris Hansen. They'd be like, hey, what's going on? And then they would start to have a conversation with the guy, and you would watch them try to be like, I was worried the girl might not be okay. She might not be safe. So I was coming to check on her. Like, and it would eventually lead with the guy leaving the house, getting arrested, and we would never see them. And this thing caught on like wildfire. And so here we have Robert Pattinson doing his best Chris Hansen impersonation as the main character. Drink. I didn't get the character wrong. I just jumbled them together.
Yeah, but it's Saturday afternoon, and I wanted to drink. I already got my golf in this morning, so
we haven't gotten to Spider Noir yet, where I'm sure I'm gonna fuck up a character in there somewhere.
I can't tell you how many times I pushed the up button on my PlayStation controller so I could start. Yeah, I just wanted to remember who the names of the characters were.
Right, but all of that is to say, I don't know if this needed to be a movie. I don't know. Like,
I'll be quick.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure you don't care about it. I don't really care about it.
I'm glad things like this exist to like thwart off people like that, to know, like, make them think twice even that they could be caught, and some people just are that bad enough to do it anyway. But I can't watch that stuff. It makes me angry or upset. It's kind of like the animals dying in like series and things of that nature. I just really don't want to deal with that either for the most part. So I appreciate the work that's being done to help with the problem, but not for me.
I, on the other hand, am here 1,000%. I love thrillers. I love psychological thrillers. I love the one thing we don't talk about in the show enough, because you said it perfectly. It was the joke about the kitchen, and I'm Chris Hansen and all that, right? Nobody ever thought about, dog, what are you going through dealing with that for 20 years? That changes you, doesn't it? Because
I don't know.
Before I figured out, because I was watching it when the show started, so I really couldn't hear that well. It looked like a new version of Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Right.
And I was like, well, that's interesting because he looks creepy. It almost reminded me of the part of Batman, the Dark Knight, when Batman and Fox are like listening to everybody to find Joker. Right. Yeah. The sonar. And I'm like, this is interesting. Then I realized it's Chris Hansen, and I was like, oh. And again, Pattinson continues to show himself as one of the world's best actors. The boy can do anything, apparently. I'm here for the role. A24, again, they really don't miss. The story is interesting. I understand where you're coming from, Tony, because it is a bit difficult subject matter. But I think it's a story that I'm all for storytelling, good stories, stories that need to be told, stories that are interesting, and seeing how they do it. And I'm interested in seeing how they tell this story.
Right. I think this is going to be much more about the development of the show, of the
Yeah,
system and the process. I'm not sure what the big like I don't know enough about Chris Hansen and the making of this segment and show to know what the major obstacles were or things that may have gone south or wrong. Uh so I from that angle of it, it's it's interesting. I just don't know. Like I said, like I'm kind of like Tony in the it's just not for me. I don't think we're going to see any children in peril necessarily
no, that
in the
would be
way
weird.
that because
That
I
would be
mean
weird.
even in the segments itself,
Just
you
the
know,
just the
it's a setup.
intent, right? You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
sure,
That's just yeah.
it's skeezy and scummy and horrible and awful, and these people should be in jail. Uh, but we'll I guess we'll see what the reception is. This was like a 1 minute trailer that I got to see in front of Backrooms. So uh,
Did you
and
like
I think I
Backrooms?
shared it. Well, like, what you watch, he loved Backrooms. I could talk to you. I'm going to talk about it a lot in what you're watching, but it was it went over extraordinarily well with a little O'Dowd. So
Oh, nice, good stuff.
all right, this next trailer, I'm ceding the floor to Tunny because it's the final trailer for season 3 of House of the Dragon. I will fully admit there is a small voice in the back of Patrick's brain that has considered it, like going back and see. And maybe it's because I listen to you guys get all crazy. I haven't listened to a minute of Game Gone Wrong, so don't get the wrong impression. Again, I'm all about myself. I'm not really about others, but he's kind of smiling like I'm not about others. He's like, yeah, that's true. But this trailer, like, shit looks like it's going down, Tony. So what are we looking at here? You're the House of the Dragon fan. You're the Game of Thrones guy, along with Dave, who is not here. So help me out. Tell me what we're seeing here.
So House of the Dragon is about 200 years before Game of Thrones, and in the middle is a Knight of the Seven or Nine Kingdoms. I suggested all for everyone. I thought the first 2 seasons of House of the Dragon were excellent. We covered a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms on the Attitude of Aggression YouTube channel, and we're going to cover season 3. We're going to actually have a two-parter to recap season 1 and 2 as we get into covering season 3, but it's just more beautiful dragon mastery. The thing about House of the Dragon is there's dragons like right away when you start to watch it, right? It's not like Game of Thrones where you have to wait for the dragons, right? They're still alive. They're not extinct yet. So it's interesting. I found a pretty good description of it. And you know, the thing is we're bringing in the Valerians here. And that's a new aspect because it's not just going to be the Targaryens and the Hightowers. It's not just going to be Rhaenyra against Alicent's sons, right? We have more than a few dragons left, even after the battles of season 2. But I'm looking forward to it. And make sure you're checking us out. We're going to be on every Friday, actually,
Oh,
live.
nice.
Attitude of Aggression YouTube channel, and those episodes will still go up on Chairshot Radio Network as audio episodes as well. So make sure you're checking that out. So June 21st, I believe, is the premiere. So 2 Fridays before that, we'll be getting going again. If you're a Game of Thrones fan and you enjoy the genre and what you saw there, it's all of it. All of it's good. It really, 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 really is, and it connects and tells stories in ways that you wouldn't think might be so good, especially since we've gone backwards. And now, since it's all been done that well, there's been rumors of the series that we wanted moving forwards after the end of Game of Thrones. So we'll see what happens. This was my time in the show today, and I appreciate you letting me squawk on for a minute or two. I can't wait to get started and rewatching some of the key moments from the first 2 seasons before we get started on our venture there. So yeah, very near and dear to my heart, the Game of Thrones universe, and House of the Dragon is doing it justice.
So I'm going to share that after
Magic
watching this.
want dragon, want
No, 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 no.
Targaryen,
So
Valerian.
true story. After watching this trailer and the next trailer, I spent a good portion of my morning today, leading up to this, watching reaction videos to different moments from OG series, like those watch along podcasts. And Mrs. O'Dowd and I sat down because I was watching people's reactions to the Red Wedding from the OG Game of Thrones because I love watching people be like, oh,
and Game of Thrones is known for their biggest moments being in the penultimate episodes of seasons.
So Mrs. O'Dowd sees me watching this. She's like, "Have you ever watched Game Gone Jones or Game of Jones?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Seth Meyers and Leslie Jones watched the final season of Game of Thrones together, and watching Leslie Jones talk through that season is hilarious." And so we watched a 37-minute mashup of every single episode of the Seth Meyers show that had Game of Jones on it, with him and Leslie Jones watching the final season of Game of Thrones. And it was a fun little watch along as we enjoyed that. And so I sometimes every once in a while I just love watching those. But I watched the Red Wedding, and then immediately after watched the death of Walder Frey, like those two reactions back to back, because the Freys kill Robb Stark and Catelyn, and then Arya gets the revenge on the Freys at the end. But nobody cares about that. What they do care about is us talking trailers.
Just for the nerdiest of people, the season 3 basically revolves around the epic battle of the Gullet. And I can tell you that showrunner Ryan Condal calls season 3's premiere arguably the craziest episode of television ever made. So I imagine we're going to have some serious watery, fiery, dragony, straight up the Gullet battle. So yeah,
that is a lot of what you see in the trailer. A lot of epic battles and betrayal, all the things you've come to expect out of Game of Thrones. So I may have said back when season 1 of X-Men 97 debuted that this was the best piece of Marvel animation that has ever come out. I still stand by that without question. And again, one of the things I rewatched today, which still makes me cry, is the 5th episode of season 1 X-Men 97. Remember It, where my favorite character from that X-Men animated series, the OG and in the current Gambit, sacrifices himself. I don't give a shit that Magneto died, but when Gambit dies and then Rogue is touching him barehanded and can't absorb, it's not so hard. I'm excited for Gambit to return as the Avatar of Death, as we are getting what appears to be an Age of Apocalypse story in X-Men 97. We get the first trailer of season 2. And dude, I'll tell you, Tony, I know you didn't watch X-Men 97, right, Tony? You didn't catch that one? Or did you watch it?
The latest
one.
There was one season or 2 seasons so far.
Just one so far.
Yeah, we covered it on the show.
Did we cover it on the show?
Yeah, that's why I watched it.
I don't remember. Maybe I did see Toy Story.
Don't ask me to recount it, but there were X-Men.
Well,
and they battled problems.
Right, and I'm going to go back and rewatch those problems because I forgot. I remember episodes of that show.
Are we going to cover the season?
Well, we might. I don't know yet. It comes out in July.
I'm like the little brother when it comes to like covering shows. I'm always in Patrick's back pocket, like, hey, why don't you cover this? Why don't you cover that? Why don't you cover this?
It's exhausting.
Sometimes he's like, yeah, shut up, and sometimes he's like, yeah, that's a great idea. He's like, no, shut up.
You know the answer is no, but I'm trying to be nice when I'm like, I'll think about it.
I'll let you know.
Like I'm like a dad. I'll get back to you.
Hey, you want to do that? You want to do that wrestling draft? I'll get back to you. You know, if you need a guy, let me know.
I don't even say if you need a guy. I'll just be like, maybe.
I told Ray immediately, like, Patrick doesn't want to do this, Ray.
Oh, I know. And he obliged too. He was like,
I did not say it in a mean way.
It's okay. You're Dan. No. You're Dan. Only you show up and are more face present than Dan. You know, Dan's just like, ask Tony.
I do think you thought it was more work than it actually was, which is why you said no.
I'll be so. God, I don't want to be. I'm going to be this guy right now. Okay,
He
I
does
love
not
doing
want to
these podcasts.
consistently be bugged by text messages to draft a
Understood.
professional wrestler. I feel
Understood.
Right.
like
No, I absolutely do. I love doing these podcasts. I love being a part of this network. I do. I really do. I'm also very much like, without
I
sounding like
like
I
being
have
in my
other
own
shit to
shit.
do.
Yeah.
I've got a lot. I do a lot of other stuff, and I like I made this joke yesterday or earlier when Tony was asking to reschedule because of the wrestling. I was like, "Oh, you're gonna fuck up my weekend." It's because I love my system. Like I love knowing that my 2 o'clock, well, my 1:20 to 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. That's the jam because I'm in my upper mid 40s and I'm a dad.
hey, now you can
Uh,
play video games tomorrow.
I could, but I'm probably gonna mow my lawn
That was gonna
because
say
that's
cut
what
the
I would do
grass.
on Saturday. That
Fantasy
I gotta do the
draft,
hedges.
Mo Milan.
So we'll get to that. But X-Men 97 season 2 it debuts. Looks like it's very much gonna be Age of Apocalypse. They're talking about the X-Men scattered throughout time. I need to rewatch season 1 leading into this to really remember season 2 because the lasting images I have from season 1 are the Remember It episode where Magneto sort of dies but not really, and Gambit absolutely dies, and we have that just gut punch
Everybody in
of
Genosha
a double
dies.
whammy.
Yeah, everybody in Genosha dies.
And then the final image of X-Men 97 season 1 of Apocalypse holding one of Gambit's cards, and we are strongly implying that Gambit will be coming back as the Avatar of Death in this, or he comes back as Death. We also see that Warren Worthington is in his Archangel look because he is one of the ones that is chosen as one of Apocalypse's horsemen. I can't remember if he was War. I think he was War at the time that he was picked. I'm interested who the other two will be. But out of this trailer, there's just so much that's overloaded in there, and all I can remember is that we gave us the Wolverine cover, the famous Wolverine cover where he's got the claws and he's gesturing somebody to come forward, close up on his face, and he's in the yellow and brown suit, not the yellow and black or yellow and blue suit that he typically does. We saw Polaris was in this trailer. There was Rogue is back. Like it looks like Scott is in the future while others are in the past. There's just so much going on. It's going to be parallel moments in time. Cable's back, Bishop's back, Forge is back, everybody's back. Ray, I'm excited. Feel these nipples. Tell me what you got
nipples.
Going on. By the way, quiet as kept. The best part of X-Men 97 season 1, very little Wolverine. I love Wolverine, but it needed to be the story following the people that followed, particularly Cyclops, who needed a reboot, especially with Marsden getting such a big role in Doomsday. The other thing you didn't speak of in X-Men season 1, which is surely gonna come back to season 2, was Bastion being kind of one of the big bads, leading to a lot of the stuff that happened and being the reason Cable is there in the first place. I was skeptical of the Age of Apocalypse story because I'm not a fan of non-linear storytelling. I've never been a fan of we're going to go to the future, to the past, never been a fan of that. And the people can do it well, but I've never been a huge fan of that. But Apocalypse is one of my favorite characters, and I think, and from in terms of a we talk about it in Marvel all the time, these Avengers level threats. Well, there's the Avengers level threat in the X-Men, and there's like 3 of them. And Apocalypse is by far one of them. But there is interesting with the X-Men finally kind of breaking through and dealing with what they had to deal with Bastion and losing everybody in Genosha. And then Magneto taking over and going good, then losing this ever-loving shit because we're sick of humans, and then that big fight at the end of it. And then when they think things finally got to where they need to get to, pow. There is an interesting in that. The four horsemen is gonna be such a dope thing to see on screen when we finally see it. And you said Angel for sure. We know Gambit. Bet money Psylocke is going to be one of them because Psylocke always ends up fucking with Apocalypse in some way, form, or fashion. I don't know who the fourth would be. They're going to need a tank or someone big, I'm imagining.
Well, I mean, once upon a time, so many people have been horsemen for Apocalypse. I mean,
for sure.
Wolverine's been a horseman of Apocalypse.
So I got one for you. What you think about Colossus?
Maybe I don't know that he's ever been one, so that could work.
Yeah, no, I can't remember either, but I'm just thinking of someone big that can be a
because you got
person.
Because here's the thing: is if Gambit is death,
yeah,
and Archangel is war,
Psylocke probably pestilence.
Then you've got pestilence and famine is almost always somebody small. You know what I mean? Because it's all because you're wasting away like that. You're famine. So
well, that's fair. Yeah. Good point. But no, it's the one thing I do appreciate is with respect to the dude for what he did in season 1. I'm glad we're past his Bo DeMayo controversy.
Yeah, he's not talking anymore.
And we just focus on how good this shit looks.
And in other news, season 4, it was announced today, season 4 has been greenlit. So
we're not already done season 3, right? Or they're in the process of it?
They were in the process of season 3 because season 3 they had the structure, they had Bo's notes, and we're working with that. But season 4 has been greenlit. So
nice.
Should be good stuff. Tony, any comments about what you saw in this trailer? What do you think? Anything you want to add before we say goodbye to Ray?
No, it's you guys hit everything pretty much on the head. I'm not as well versed in the X-Men lore as the other three of you guys are. I did enjoy watching this come back, and when we covered it, and I'll enjoy watching it again, whether we covered it or not. It's just fun to kind of go back to that 90s kind of it stayed in that 90s kind of era feel too when it came back, and that was pretty cool. And that was kind of, that's my, entering into and teens. So,
I really do have to say, I enjoyed the trailer for the most part, but I hated the we have to make sure this is X-Men 97, where he's like, we must go back to take on the X-Men when they're the most vulnerable.
The 90s.
The 90s. He doesn't even say it like minutes. It's like the 90s. And I'm like, dude, bro. So, no.
Can I ask you one question before I get out here, Patrick?
Yes.
X-Men 97 coming up, and with us clearly having 2 more seasons, probably more, because they realize what they got now with this. Tell me one villain and one hero, one X-Man that we haven't seen yet you want to see.
One hero and one villain from the X-Men that I want to see. Zorn from the X-Men, though I would love for it to be the evil Zorn incarnation where it's really Magneto in disguise. That would be fun. We've already seen Magneto before. I'm not as familiar with current X-Men and more recent X-Men, so it's a little bit harder for me to pull from that.
Go with your area. That's fine.
But I also would like to see a better Phalanx story told than the one that we got in the original run, because the Phalanx story that was played in the original X-Men series was during the last season when the different animation company had taken it over and the different story writers. It just wasn't very good. So it's one that's been done. I'm sorry, it's not the right answer, or it's not the best answer, but it's the one I got. Funny story, by the way.
I didn't give you much time.
I was wrong. Gambit and Angel have both been death. So you could see here's Colossus. I was wrong. Colossus has been war before. So
but it makes sense because he's such a he kind of here kind of character, right?
Right. There's been so many characters that have been death. And then Sunfire has been pestilence or famine. Sorry, he's been famine.
He's in the show.
Caliban has been both death and pestilence.
We haven't seen Caliban yet. We haven't seen any of his Morlocks.
So has Polaris. Polaris has been pestilence, and then this one would be my favorite. Hulk. The Hulk has been war.
He has. I didn't know that.
Deathbird and Colossus are kind of the highlighted names there.
So my two real fast, and they're very, very small, not important characters, but are very memorable characters. I really want to see Dazzler on somebody's screen because I think it's such a fun character in a world.
Yeah, she cameoed in the OG series.
Yeah,
she had one episode dedicated to her.
And one of my favorite comic runs I've ever read was A-Force during the Secret Wars when it was just the world of all women, and Dazzler was a major part of the A-Force. And I'm still pushing for Taylor Swift to play her in live action. And Danger.
Yeah.
So Tony, Danger is actually the sentient Danger Room. And
no, not Buck Rogers. Stop it.
No, right.
You're Danger Will Robinson. You're even going further back.
Danger Will Robinson. Danger.
The story
is Lost in Space.
I was.
The story is that Xavier trapped her and forced her to become that to train his people. And she got out nice. Xavier's a piece of shit.
It's not nice at all.
The more you read X-Men, Xavier's really a piece of shit.
Well, I
don't know if I want to.
If you want to hate the gold standard of Marvel good guys, read an Illuminati comic.
Boy, the stuff that he pushes.
Xavier, Tony Stark, Namor,
even
fucking Reed Richards,
even Cap. Cap was in some of the meetings. Yeah, that's why Black Panther every time it's like, nah, bro.
Yeah, for the kids, Ray, for the kids. Even Cap, no Cap. Did I do that right? Did I do that right?
It worked.
Yeah. I'm upper middle 40s.
Upper mid 40s.
6, 7.
No, that's dead. That's dead.
I know. That's why, because I'm in my upper middle 40s.
That's right.
Don't ask my daughter's best friend. She does it to me. I get random texts during the day, 6, 7 stuff.
Fair enough. All right. Well, Ray, thank you for jumping on and doing this bit of the trailer park and hitting up some thoughts on X-Men 97 and Toy Story 5. All of that.
Have a good day,
stuff.
Sweetie Pie.
Y'all too. Sorry to ruin the show.
Your time. You know what?
Yeah.
But it is your obligation as a man with a paid account to tell people how to follow you. So before you go,
you think you can show up for the draft next week?
Oh, the draft is next week for you all?
Oh, that's right. No, so look,
We're continuing the project.
No, right? I know. Yes. I'm playing dumb.
No, I absolutely plan on being here regularly again. I'm sorry. My bad last week. Yes. Life has been busy. So
Patrick's
sorry.
trying to make sure he's here for the rest of the draft, I think.
I will be here. All right. It's Ray Cash on Twitter.
We have to shame him on air into doing it. That way he'll be here.
That's right. Shame.
Every weekend. I'm sorry.
Shame.
I had 2 weekends I was busy.
I'm kidding, Ray. We love you.
As somebody who shows up to his own program when he kind of feels like it, I can't really give you too much trouble. But have a good day, man. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Hardest working man at the chair shot. Bye, Raymond. Love you.
Bye, Ray.
Y'all be good, man. Appreciate it.
All right. And on that note, we are going to take our first commercial break. Tuddy says, let's try it. So if you're listening live, give us a little minute for a blurb, and we'll be back in 30 seconds to talk some Spider Noir episodes 1 and 2. You're listening to Bandwagon Nerds here on the Chairshot Radio Network, a part of the Chairshot.com, maybe?
No, probably not. So,
and it fails. So put up the website.
Here's what we're going to do.
Throw that website up on the screen.
TheChairShot.com. Always use your head. Plenty of cool new stuff at TheChairShot.com. It's a completely revamped website. Interactive trivia. All the same coverage, all the same podcasts, but new premium events, which Ray talked about. A lot more interaction for you to have over there. And make sure you're heading over to ProWrestlingTees.com/TheChairShot. Tons of cool designs. You can get yourself that logo right there, Bandwagon Nerds t-shirt. ProWrestlingTees.com/TheChairShot. Makes a great gift for the nerd wrestling fan in your life any time of year. And now, back to Patrick O'Dowd.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tunney. So, because nobody's here, you and I have the honor, the distinct honor of talking about the first 2 episodes of Spider Noir, debuted on Amazon. Did you? What's wrong?
No, I'm excited actually.
Okay. I was like, uh-oh.
No.
Here,
I can't.
Amazon never stops confusing me because, damn it, either pick a lane, Amazon. Either do like you do with the boys, where you put it out over time, or just drop the whole fucking thing like Netflix. Why are you going back and forth on me like this? And I get it. Maybe you think Spider Noir needed to be binged, I guess, but you still do. It's still an episodic show. Like literally, the first episode ends with like the dame in the door, just like a good noir should. And the second episode ends, and it's what have I done? As we get a return of not Spider-Man, Ben Riley, no, the Spider. Very big difference. So we'll go into details in a second. I just want to start with I don't know how you felt. I really enjoyed these first two episodes. I thought it was a lot of fun. I love that this is such a different take, and this is a comic that exists, but this is such a different take on the Spider-Man mythos. We get Ben Riley instead of Peter Parker or Miles Morales. They, absolutely recognized Into the Spider-Verse as part of the show in the opening monologue, and this really is being shot like a 1930s film noir, where he's the private investigator with the tragic past, and he's done with dames, and then another dame comes into his life. I'm just going to keep calling them dames for the rest of the show because that's what it is. And you had the spunky secretary, and you got the reporter that's working along with him, Robbie Robertson, and you got shady bad guys and the mob, I tell you, see, and we got prohibition. Prohibition's bad, and we got corruption, and we got dames cheating on their husbands. But are they really cheating on their husbands? Who knows what's going on? And you got to talk in a little tiny voice like this, see? And you got to say see at the end of every sentence because that's how they talked back then. See? That's what you got to do. And I loved it. I loved every second of it. I flipped the color like for 30 seconds at one point just to see what Silvermane looked like in color. And then went, that's nice. And went back to black and white because to me, it was clearly built to be a black and white film. See?
I imagine you'd rewrite, Patrick, say.
How'd you enjoy the first two episodes?
Let's start right where you left off. You watched in black and white, and you switched over when?
One time to see when Silvermane is talking to his number one guy, played by Lucas Haas. Is that his name? No, not Lucas Haas.
Winston. Yeah, it is. Winston.
Is his last name Haas? But yeah, Winston, his number one guy.
I got the cast up right here next to me. If you folks ever wonder what I'm doing when I'm looking down all the time, I'm constantly like research boy on this show and every other show. I'm always efforting when I'm not talking. But so you watched it in black and white.
Yes, all the way.
So I love the option right away. They ask you. They give you 10 seconds to pick, right?
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, what? I'm like, yeah, no, I'm like black and white, yeah. So I watched the first 4 minutes in black and white, and then I'm like, well, let's turn on color. Never turned back. Watched it in color. You want to know why? You want to know why?
Why?
Because I would imagine it's excellent in black and white, but the people back then, they lived in color, and I wanted to see what the colors they were living in were. And there they were, all their colors that were there in the 1930s.
And here I am being like, people in the 1930s would have watched their movies in black and white, see?
Well,
and so they would have only known it in black and white.
They would have turned their heads to the left and right and seen people in color. I get it. But you know what? We talked about this too when we brought up the series and whether or not we were going to cover it. And we all said we're going to watch it in black and white. And I lied because I'm going to watch it in color. Just because it's still good, but yeah.
What's funny is I threatened Dave with you have to watch it in color as a punishment, and here you are, just watching it on your own.
Yeah.
So
I got it. I got that part.
I guess it's not quite the punishment I thought. So let's go through some of the character highlights of the things that I really liked. Nicolas Cage being the weathered old man that he is, playing this role to his fullest tilt. But call me crazy, I don't think he's the one doing the flip kicks and some of the ninja looking stuff.
I mean, right away you see that there's going to be action involved, but the way that the character is while doing said action, it's perfect because you can have somebody like Nick Cage come in and obviously, right? Like
right. I love that Robbie Robertson is a major part of this story as a fan of Spider-Man in general. As a kid, Robbie was always Peter Parker and Spider-Man's like biggest advocate at the Daily Bugle. And so to see this character carry over with Ben Reilly and clearly knows that Ben Reilly was the Spider. Like they established that very early in the episode when Ben is talking to him and he's like, you could be doing this. Ever since the Spider's been gone, Silvermane's running the town. It's clear that they're boys and that Ben has trusted him with this secret.
Yeah, he's the one trustworthy friend, which like almost all Spider-Man or the Spider or spiders, peoples who's have powers, spider people that Spider-Pig even maybe had a good friend too. So we don't know.
If you will.
Hey, you never know. Could have been Spider-Duck.
Right. We get Karen Rodriguez playing Janet Ruiz, the assistant. She's a great character, threatening to quit every 5 seconds until because of course Nicolas Cage's character, he's a drunk, he's broke, because that's what film noir is. It's always that PI is always at like the bottom of at the end of his rope. He's at the end of his rope. Just tried. He's given up on life. He's given up on life because the love of his life has died. See, she was thrown in a car and tied up and drowned, and he couldn't save her. And that means that he's got to be depressed and drunk all the time. See?
You guys thought that Patrick O'Dowd's range ended at Retainer Boy. Let me tell you, we've only just begun.
Like an onion. I got some layers.
Are you like
Donkey?
Bloomin' Onion? Are you Bloomin' Outback? Outback, we'd love a sponsorship. This segment brought to you by Outback Steakhouse, home of the Bloomin' Onion.
I might actually eat at Outback Steakhouse if we were sponsored by.
I don't mind an Outback Steakhouse dinner.
You know what I really cared about Outback Steakhouse is when I was watching the Outback Bowl and I needed to know what my cheap appetizer was going to be after the Outback Bowl.
Oh,
because one team was always sponsored by the Bloomin' Onion and the other one was sponsored by I can't remember what the other app was.
Like the shrimp, the coconut shrimp, or
it's the coconut shrimp.
The tempura coconut shrimp or whatever.
Right. It was either the coconut shrimp or the Bloomin' Onion. And I hate coconut, so I was always pulling for the Bloomin' Onion team, unless it was the University of Iowa, because fuck that school.
The last time I went there, though, it's been a while. I got whatever shrimp they had, and I was like, "Do you have cocktail sauce?" And they're like, "No, but I can make you some." I'm like, "That's all right."
I'll just eat them plain.
I mean, no, they had some sauce on them that I didn't like. That's why I went with the cocktail.
Right.
I should have just said, "Can I get a side of horseradish and ketchup, please?"
There you go. Lee Jun Lee playing Kat Hardy, which is a nod to Felicia Hardy as well. That is not an accident. Felicia Hardy is the Black Cat. Instead of making her Felicia Hardy, they gave her the first name Cat, and every Spider-Man fan did the Leonardo DiCaprio meme where they're sitting in the chair and they point at the screen. Like that's what they did. We all did it. You didn't because you're not as deep in as I am, I'm sure. But I definitely did. I was like, oh. But anyway, that was me. And this story takes on Nicolas Cage. Ben Reilly is pursuing a young man. He thinks it's just a simple like track down missing persons sort of case. Winston is the man who hires him, offers him $50 to track down this guy. And I'm trying to find his name now.
Joe Addison.
Addison, yes. He's trying to track down this guy, Addison. Along the way, as he's chasing this guy, Addison, after Addison makes him in pursuit, Reilly is chasing him down when a car door throws open and knocks him out in the middle of the street, and a rival PI going by the name of not Ogden. I'm going to get this name wrong too. Donegal.
Donegal,
right?
Yeah.
Donegal was the guy who was his competition. They both tracked this guy down at an oil company, and this dude sets himself on fire via powers. Donegal freaks out, shoots him in the chest 3 times. As the guy dies, he falls down, leading to a big explosion. It turns out that he had tried to blow up the house of Silvermane, the crime kingpin. He did, but Silverman survived.
Yep.
And Silverman is trying to track this guy down to, get him to sleep with the fishes, or in some other way. I mean, I would assume putting him in water would be the right answer. As it is, he doesn't have to. They've taken care of the job, and that then leads to realizing that maybe we're a little in over our head. Also, Ben Reilly is approached by a very nice, portly-looking dude by the name of Carmody, who asks Nicholas Cage. I keep doing this, asking Ben Reilly to track down his wife, who he claims is cheating on him, and that is the aforementioned Kat Hardy. As Ben is tailing her into a hotel room, she sees her with a candidate for mayor, snaps some pictures, tries to blackmail her. She sends her bodyguard Flint Marco to get the negatives, and we see that he has powers too. He can turn into sand as we get the arrival of the Sandman. We also get our first look at Tombstone in the second episode, and we come to learn that all of these characters with powers were connected in some way, shape, or form due to their time served during World War I, is my guess, because they're all connected via the military. They all were at the same battle, even Ben Reilly. Ben Reilly wasn't friends with this group, but they were in the same place. So it seems like these powers and these guys have these powers stemming from perhaps what happened over there. And
I think the only thing you missed so far along the way was that Kat was caught by Ben early on, and Janet revealed once the negatives came through in the red room that
was the mayor.
It was the mayor. Yeah.
Right. And we also know that Silvermane has dealings with Kat as well. Silvermane is also leading all the illicit alcohol running that is going on in New York City. And that actually is important in episode 2 when Winston is wanting to check the shipment to make sure everything's okay. And through the course of the events that are going on with Kat and trying to figure out what happened to Flint, because Flint goes missing after the first episode, that he decides to resume being the Spider. He had stopped being the Spider after his fiance
that poor
was
couple.
killed. Yes. And yes, that poor couple whose house he goes into because it is his former home, to get his outfit back. And I just love the look that I think the guy's name is like some Henry or something.
Yeah, the guy's like befuddled and confused, and
I don't think he was a plumber.
And non-abrasive, while his newlywed wife is just upset, angry, and purely disturbed and wanting to take action.
I love when he points out that the table should be in a different corner, and she's like, "I told you."
Yeah,
that was nice. But then the look on her face as he goes through the window, and the husband is like, "I don't think he was a plumber." And she's like, "Well, no shit." Was good stuff. We don't get a lot of where this is going. There is a bit of a shakedown. Silvermane sends his men to shake down Janet at one point, and Ben puts the mask back on to get Silvermane to back off of his investigations, because that's tied to the murder of God damn it, which name is that drink?
Hastings.
Hastings?
Ambrose?
No, the guy who sets himself on fire.
Addison.
He's like, she doesn't know anything about what happened to your guy or happened to Addison. She has nothing to do with it. Leave these people alone. And then he proceeds to screw up the run that was going to happen, like the wrap of the gun, which we do learn leads to a big firefight in the streets, and Robbie being like, well, somebody screwed up this police sting that was going to take all these bottles down, and now there's fighting in the streets. And that's when we get the Spider being like, oh, fuck.
He's like, all right, gotta go. Don't want to die in a phone booth.
My bad. I'm so sorry. I've screwed this all up. And that's where we leave as we head into episodes 3 and 4 next week.
What have I done?
He's done a lot. I want to reiterate again, we talked about this before. I love the characters that they've chosen to use for this. I love that Silvermane is the main bad guy, a character who I don't think gets enough love in the Spider-Man universe. Like, nobody knows who Silvermane is unless you're a deep cut teacup guy. And so this is the perfect type of character. And I'll be interested to see if they truly pursue one of his greatest aims, which is always the pursuit of immortality. Like he's always trying to find a way to extend his life beyond his time, because he's always an older crime boss that is pushing death's door and trying to avoid it. And Tombstone is one of his number one bodyguards. And so when we're introduced to Tombstone, we're introduced to him in a shanty town that and he's talking to Ben Riley, or not Ben Riley, Robbie, who's investigating the murder of Addison, and they're talking back and forth, and that's how we learn anything about him. He has not yet started working for Silvermane. That's coming soon, and I look forward to that. I love what we're getting out of this so far.
I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I can't wait to just watch the next two, and as we're gonna do here. I think it's such a brilliant casting where you can take someone like Nick Cage at his age and put him in this character, because you can still probably get at least 3 seasons, maybe 4 with him, because he doesn't have to do the action stuff, right? You don't have to shoot from any lower than where we're shooting right here, almost, with Cage as an actual person. So it's fun. It's cool. His webs are natural. That's his power, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So he has the actual powers, right? So that's pretty sweet. It's interesting,
He does. The natural web shooters.
Yeah. Why didn't they work that one point in time, or did he not let him work on purpose so that he could get to where he wanted to be? Where he said Tai Chi.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Remember the first time the two guys and he went Tai Chi? Did he do that on purpose to get to where he wanted to go?
So I wonder if it's connected to the rest of the characters in the story, because if you look, like Flint talks about how something's wrong with his powers, like he's having trouble controlling them. I don't know if it was true that. So I wonder if there's something going on with their powers are degrading. Spider-Man's powers not working is an old Spider-Man trope. Like that's been around forever. So it doesn't necessarily surprise me that might be something that we do as well.
I'll just say,
but we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah. That's we got 6 episodes to go.
I'll just say last thing for me. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I this more of this sort of stuff, Sony. If you're gonna do Spider-Man stuff, use Spider-Man characters. Like do a Spider-Ham cartoon. Like take advantage of that, and take advantage of John Mulaney being the voice and doing something like that. Like do those things, because that is so much better than like these 2 episodes. I'm like, so Sony can do a good Spider-Man show. They can do something and not fuck it up. The villains thing was just a bad idea, and they tried it and it failed, and it eroded so much faith in that company. This is helping me regain it a little bit. We're not going to take a second commercial break. We literally just came back from a commercial break. We're going to just do one break today. We're going to roll right into news around the nerdosphere. And the first 2 involve AI to some degree. And the first news piece is the one that I think is very, very interesting, and that the Tribeca Film Festival is going to allow the first fully AI made film into the festival. This is the first major film festival to allow a film submission made completely by AI, and it is I want to say it's an Iranian film called Dreams of Violence, or something like that. I read the article. I closed it. I can't keep it open on my browser right now, or it'll kill my stream. So I'm not going to go back to it. But we've talked about this with the AI tool. Somebody was going to make a full-on feature film. I am a little surprised that a film festival is choosing to air it. And again, I would not be surprised if this is sparked with controversy. I think this is something that, Tony, you and I both were in agreement was bound to happen sooner rather than later. I'm most interested in how the rest of the film industry responds to this being played, more so than I am about the actual like film itself or being added in the first place. because this is what some people have been scared of.
No, Dreams of Violets. Fountain Zero, I think, is who's releasing this. It's a 75-minute docudrama inspired by the protests that swept Tehran in January, highlighting 5 Iranians who met in a Tehran alley before they're executed. So pretty heavy stuff. I'm all for like involving it at film festivals and just showcasing what it can do. I don't know that necessarily we should celebrate it with major awards unless it's its own category. Like I don't think you can put this in with, you know, I don't know the extent of what exalt AI with it either.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, is it completely just 100% AI? I don't know. I just read the article, like you said, and it's a step.
That seems
though.
to be what it applies. Yeah.
Tribeca's a pretty major film festival, by the way.
Right. You know, it's up there. It's not quite Cannes over in France. It's not quite Cannes Film Festival. But it's a known, notable festival.
And I hate to say it, but you know, they're the first one to showcase AI. So, you know, obviously they were smart enough to know that they were going to get some publicity.
I do think that with the Academy of Motion Pictures coming out with what they said would be eligible films, and really putting strict restrictions on AI generated characters and those sorts of things, that may have emboldened a festival like Tribeca to put one up and show it. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes from there. But also, could be a major step in AI and filmmaking. And you'll see there are plenty of filmmakers that are not against the use of AI as a tool to enhance their filmmaking. That is not new. So this is just the next step. The other article that I can't bring up again because it'll kill my browser, but that I thought was worth noting is that Stan Lee, his estate, has Stan Lee 11 Labs have allowed for his voice and likeness to be licensed and to continue to live on and be used in products, in film and other in voiceover work and things like that. We've seen some similar stories going on. There's a Val Kilmer movie where Val Kilmer, his image and likeness and his voice are being used for a film that he started working on but died before it could be finished. Here's the thing: is in the MCU, one of the biggest things that folks used to look for was the Stan Lee cameo, right? Like, where is Stan Lee going to point out? I just rewatched Civil War last week, and when he shows up as the FedEx driver delivering a box to Tony Stank, everybody goes, "Yay, Stan Lee!" When Stan Lee says, you know, drives by the military bases, says "Make love, not war," people cheer. You know, Kermit the Frog style, yeah, like that. So we go crazy for it. I wonder how people will feel about it. I will probably not be bothered by it.
It's interesting to me. Like, I always have a good ear for when I can tell there's a celebrity voicing a commercial. Like, before we really knew, I could always hear John Cena in his Honda commercials. You know what I mean?
Pedaling
There's
cars,
other people like Ed O'Neill had done some stuff and different people like that. I mean, obviously some people we just know, but it'll be fun to, like, you know, be watching a Marvel movie and hear like a voice come in from like a pilot over the radio of some starship or some, you know, action part, and we don't necessarily get to see the visual of what's happening on the other side, but that voice is Stan Lee, right? Like that's
Right.
like you sit in the theater and you go, oh shit, and that's pretty cool. And that's when you get that Rock moment where the hairs stand up on the arm a little bit and you're just like, feels good to hear that. And as long as it's benefiting his estate like he wanted it to, then I'm all for it, right?
Right.
All for it because it touches all the bases.
Right. You talk about moments that give you chills. Right after Stan Lee died, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse came out, and Dude, that scene still to this day chokes me up when he buys the costume from Stan Lee and Stan Lee gives him no refunds. And it's even the thing that's the worst about it is that scene is Peter Parker dying trying to protect Miles. So it is literally he's buying this suit to pay homage to Spider-Man for a funeral, and Stan Lee, who has just died, is the one selling him the costume. It is so crushing to think about. It kills me every time. There's so many times where you get surprised where things hit you. When James Earl Jones died, shortly after James Earl Jones died, I went to shocker. I was at Disney World. A lot of Disney World talk today, and there is a moment in the Happily Ever After fireworks show where Mufasa, his voice plays over the thing. It's James Earl Jones talking about how you are not what you have yet to become, or something, or you are more than what you have become. And it's like this really inspirational moment. And it's like, holy shit. Like you're thinking about this guy, and he passed away, and there's his voice. Like, I still want to be connected to Stan Lee. Like I do. I still want to, and that's why I won't quit on the MCU. Like I won't quit on it. Like Disney didn't, it's had some troubles, but I can't quit on this stuff because that's important to me. And Stan Lee had a lot to do with where that company is and what it became. And I love him for it. So I, oddly enough, like you, his voice will be a comforting one, even if it's an AI generated compilation of things he said or his image. So that's what I got there. And we're going to follow that up.
Well said.
Yeah. And we're going to follow that up with a Happy Trails. And this Happy Trails that I don't know that enough fans of George Lucas's work really may understand if you're just a Star Wars fan. Because Marsha Lucas, ex-wife of George Lucas, passed away a couple of days ago. She's battling cancer. She passed on. And simply stated, Star Wars A New Hope does not exist and end up on a screen if Marsha Lucas doesn't edit it. And that was the thing that folks failed to recognize in many, many ways when we talk about George Lucas and the impact of his work. George and his wife, Marsha, he trusted her above so many people when it came to his movies. And it started with American Graffiti. She fixed American Graffiti. Started with, followed with A New Hope. She fixed A New Hope. Anytime George Lucas was on a project as a director or had input in the filmmaking process of itself, he was very much we're going to get as many shots as possible. We're going to have all of this stuff, and it would be out there. And for as great of an idea man as George Lucas was, there was a certain level and lack thereof of connectivity that comes with his filmmaking style without the right editor. And Marsha Lucas was it. And Marsha Lucas was the one that could keep his work in check. When they got divorced, it was so devastating for him that it led to Howard the Duck. And that's not even a joke, because he lost all this money in the divorce. He needed to do stuff to make money, and he was depressed. He was in a horrible place. He didn't want to touch Star Wars anymore. He had his first major failure immediately after Return of the Jedi, and then he was going through this divorce with Marsha Lucas. It was brutal. She edited the Indiana Jones movies. She did so very much, and it's it's so sad. She was an award-winning editor in her own right. She had to go out and do her own thing, and you live to be 80, and that's an amazing life. But she was as important to Star Wars existing as George Lucas, the idea man behind it, because she actually helped make it all make sense. So that's my moment in my speech on Marcia Lucas, because God bless her. Happy trails, Marcia. And I know that that's got to be hard for George Lucas too, even though they were no longer together. She was very important to him.
He sold the computer graphics division, the graphics group, just to make that movie after the divorce. I had to look back up the exact name of it, but I remember when we reviewed Howard the Duck, I wrote that up in my synopsis. But yeah, history is littered with a lot of couples where there's a great woman or a great man behind a great woman or a great man. A lot of people are successful because of the support they've gotten behind the curtain from their significant other. So and that's just something to say about their union and what made them both successful. She obviously was extremely talented in her field and launched, his greatness as well. So it's not just children, it's everything. It takes a village sometimes, like thinking about like kind of relaunching our network here, and it takes all of us to kind of step back up and reevaluate how we can all do better and contribute, and that's where it's just like, I guess, everything is awesome, everything is cool when you're part of a team. Should we do the Lego movie thing?
We could. Here's the thing that I also want to share with folks, and why I think it's important to talk about how important Marcia Lucas was. So she's credited in the credits for editing Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope. She's credited for editing Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. She's not credited for Empire Strikes Back, but she did it. She's not credited for American Graffiti, but she did it. Before she met George Lucas, she was an accomplished editor as well. She had edited Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. She had edited an impression of John Steinbeck. Like, she was great, met George, stayed great, did so many things. And the foundation of this show is Star Wars. And without her, she's like, who knows what happens with Star Wars if it even happens. So raise a glass, happy trails, Marcia Lucas. Like, we love you here at the bandwagon. I'm out of water. Damn it. Oh well.
It's okay. If it was just water, it doesn't matter. I got it. It doesn't. I've been drinking enough for both of us.
I'm gonna have a glass of wine after this and play video games, so it's all good.
Nice. What are you gonna play?
I am on my third playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3, the Dungeons and Dragons video game. I recently just finished a old PlayStation 1 game. They re-released Final Fantasy Tactics back in the day. And so I just finished that playthrough, and I'm holding off a little bit to start my next NCAA franchise for football. I want to wait a couple weeks. But I'm going to restart the Illinois era and put in its new defensive scheme, because they're now running a 3-3, 3-3-5 defensive scheme for this season.
If we started a Winner Is You nostalgia kind of tour where every once in a while we get together, I'll keep you in mind when you're available.
And just like that, folks,
you just got busier.
Just like that, folks, trying to pull
me
in.
I got a question though. I'm thinking about downloading, because like everything I have right now I've been playing for a while.
Right.
I'm always going to be playing golf until the next one comes out. I'm always going to be playing Fortnite, but I'm thinking about, to bide my time until Madden comes out, I could download the Football Club 26, the FIFA football game, for free right now because of my PlayStation Plus membership. But I don't know that I want to get into that. I might because of World Cup, but I'm thinking about downloading the show. I haven't played baseball in a long time.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I was like, it's
on sale too for like $50.
My favorite baseball game of all time, back when EA put one out, was MVP Baseball. I think it was 2006 was the version that I had. And I would go GM mode, and I wouldn't even play a game. I would just go GM mode and try to build teams and draft. I would do that in Madden too every once in a while. It's my favorite part of any of those games, honestly, is the franchise mode or Dynasty mode in NCAA.
You should
Those
download
are my games.
NBA because you can do it in eras where like you can
Oh
start
yeah, I've heard
and
about
you
that.
can
Yeah.
draft like the whole draft class. Like you can start where like the first draft after your first season is Jordan's draft, or you can start where it's Shaq's draft, or you can start where it's LeBron's draft. It's
That's cool.
insane. Yeah, no, it's nuts.
Yeah.
You'd love it.
It's good. Well, we're already talking a little bit about what are you playing. Let's talk a little bit about what you're watching. By the way, I noticed some videos. You talked about golfing. I noticed some videos on the socials. You giving lessons now?
I just when I'm out on the course, I was out this morning early. Like I tried to go to the course. This can be what I'm watching because I haven't been watching much for me. After we get to what you're watching, before we get to what you're watching, but I tried to head to like the course down the road. I got there at like 5:20. No one was there. Like 5:20 in the morning, folks. They don't let people out till 6. So I drove down the road to a different course. They let me out. I played 9 holes in like an hour and 2 minutes. But had a good time. No one in front of me. Beautiful morning. That's what I've been watching is golf courses.
Fair enough. I shared this earlier in the day, but last night the little O'Dowd and I went to the theater and we saw Backrooms, and I knew nothing about this movie, and we watched the trailer for it forever ago. I will say this trailer, it's a horror film, but it's not very. It's more suspenseful. It's more suspenseful. It's more the little. So we watched this movie, right? And the little O'Dowd knew the history. It's a YouTube. It was a YouTube series before, or something. It was on YouTube. It was kind of a big internet sensation for a little bit. This director, who's only 20 years old, then got to make this movie for A24, and it's a psychological tension based horror film, and we go through this whole movie. It's over, and little O'Dowd looks at me. He's just like, I really liked this movie. I didn't eat my snacks. I was like on the edge of my seat the whole time. And he is just going on and on the whole way we're going through, talking about like it's a psychological thriller with these crazy layers. You don't understand what, like, you're following this main character, or who you think is a main character, who he runs a furniture store, and he walks through a wall, and it's like he's being taken into another dimension in these back rooms, and there's like furniture piled up, and he keeps like walking through these different layers and levels, and you're like, what is really happening? But meanwhile, there's also his therapist who he's been going and talking to, and he's talking about how his life has been ruined because he's like a failing furniture store person, and she's actually involved in this, and it's like this. It's this look at the cycles that we create for ourselves in our lives, and the realities and the world that we create in our minds and our memories, and how things aren't quite what we remember them or how we remember them, but it comforts. It's such a, I really enjoyed it as well. I thought it was worth the time to check out, and I'm glad we did, because one, it was a great evening with my son, and I don't like to go see something that he's really passionate about and he's really excited about these days. Like that's important to me, and to be able to do that, and on top of it, to be a great movie that he wanted to yap about ad nauseum after it was over. It was great. He loved it. I loved it. Go see Backrooms.
The father-son moments are great. I got to play golf with my dad Memorial Day, and 73. He played the gold, which is in front of the white.
Ooh.
You know, a little closer, but he's 73. Shot 80. Yeah, like still got it.
That's good stuff.
I remember this now trailer because I compared it to the Stanley Parable, the game.
Yeah.
I would have the little O'Dowd. Like I think you can get that for dollars on the pennies or maybe for free.
He knows all about that.
He knows that one already.
I don't get to tell him about games he's never heard of. I'll be like,
okay,
hey,
what about
this? He's like,
what about the movie? What about the movie Cube? Has he seen Cube?
Oh, Cube. It's
Cube?
been a long time since I don't think he's seen Cube. We should check.
I would show him Cube. That might be good. Like that. Yeah, that's psychological as well. But yeah, the Stanley Parable and Cube remind me of this. I'm glad you guys had a good time though. I really am.
It was good. It was a good movie, and I think it's on track to make something like $60 million in its debut, and
That's
it has
A24, man. They're
well,
awesome.
and it has potential to be, and this is saying a lot. It has potential to be the biggest horror debut in theaters, like monetarily, and that's a lot considering Sinners was just last year, and Obsession made a shit ton of money yesterday. It's a big time for horror right now. This is the genre that is
opening the doors.
like being paid attention to right now. Superhero movies had its time. Horror is really massive right now. Winning Oscars made it huge, and people are flocking in a different way, and they're looking at horror movies in a different way, and I think that's really important.
Who was the young filmmaker / director that is accredited with this movie again? 20 years old, you said. So like this is someone right here on Bandwagon Nerds. We're telling you to keep an eye out for the next 40, 50 fucking years, right?
Right.
Earmuffs.
Get this.
Sorry, I dropped the F-bomb in my golf broadcast this morning too. I was like, earmuffs. My bad.
Kane Parsons is the
look out for Kane Parsons, yo. Let's go. Bandwagon Nerds approved.
It's good. So, all right. I think that's going to do it this week. We said it was going to be an abbreviated version. It was still an hour and 40 some minutes. Look at us go. That's what nerds do. Nerds talk too much.
You know, when there's three of us, it's like, you know, it's going to be about an hour and a half, hour 50. When there's four of us, it's going to be 2 hours. But then when there's two of us, it's like you get into these little personal conversations because we all have a really good connection with each other, not just everybody, but with each other. So enjoyed spending time with you for a little bit.
Yeah, Patrick. It was a good time, man.
Glad Ray was here.
Enjoy Clash in Rome or Italy or wherever the fuck it is.
Oh, guy, like you don't know.
I mean, kind of.
WrestleMania card.
I'm sure it is. Sure, a lot of consequential things will happen in the middle of the summer season. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I'm playing the role too hard. Look at him go. He's like
Saturday night's main event was kind of rough last weekend, so let's hope.
If you want to hear a differing opinion on what Saturday night's main event is, check out the Greg DeMarco show this week. That is the one bit of segment that we did talk about with regards to wrestling outside of the theme park episode. Okay, Tony, tell everybody where they can find you on the socials or plug whatever you want to plug in this moment.
Let's plug Dave, attitudeofaggression.com, the YouTube channel as well. Tons of awesome things happening over there. The man that's been working really hard to make the chairshot.com, hashtag always use your head, a lot cooler and a lot more interactive with a lot more cool things. That it's Ray Cash, R-A-Y Mysterio, C-A-S-H as in dollars. Follow me at PC Tony, the commissionaire. I've been having fun here on a Saturday. Got up early golfing. Thank you to Patrick O'Dowd for accommodating the wrestling show on Sunday. You're a very valuable member, my friend.
I'm a very important part of the team.
We love you very much.
And you can follow me on the socials at Wrestling Realist. That is at WRESTLNGREALIST. You can catch me every Monday, Tuesday, and most Wednesdays on the Chairshot Radio Network. Mondays talking nerdy stuff with these guys. Tuesdays talking sports. Though not this week. We're taking a week off. We're going to be talking Stanley Cup Finals and NBA Finals next time we get together and how those are going because the NHL Finals are set. We got a game 7 tonight.
So shortly.
Unidentified history. Does Wemby do it? Does Wemby do it? That's the question. Because it's really about can they contain Wemby enough, or is OKC too deep?
No analysis. Who wins? You say Thunder or you say Spurs?
I say the depth of the Thunder does it.
Thunder wins.
Yeah. So we'll see if we're right come tomorrow or tonight. And then Wednesdays talking mostly wrestling with Greg DeMarco when we feel like it. Thank you everyone for listening. This has been Bandwagon Nerds. So hope you had a great time. Get yourself out of the basement, get some sun, go check out Backrooms. It's worth your time. Hell of a movie, deserves to be number 1 in the box office. Thank you everyone. This has been Bandwagon Nerds here on the Chairshot Radio Network, part of the Chairshot.com.